was making sense a little bit up until now, until that Kennedy thing. I'll tell you, like, the whole Matrix simulation.
No, go ahead, man. We're recording.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 2. Happy Christmas.
So,
all right, let's hear it. So,
with all the other Mandela effects, all the other ones, it appears to be almost like in a video game when you're running a program and your computer can't run it, so it starts glitching out a bit, erasing some memory, pixels, trying to, get you to change the settings on it to help with that. So everything else, like Pikachu's, pattern changing, things like that, it all seems like the computer are trying to save memory by erasing certain things that were there.
I'm trying to keep like an arm's distance apart, so that way we don't have that like.
We got to learn. See, we're new. Is it so? How? Yeah,
absolutely.
Does it say on the directions?
No, it doesn't. I'm just experimenting as we go.
Wow, that you figured it would say on there, like, by the way, stay 10 feet apart.
I'm sure it has some kind of instructions in it. I just don't understand the pictograph language that it's written in.
Okay, but the one about Kennedy and the 6 people in the car, that one, just adding people, that freaked me the fuck out. I'm like, what in the hell? Like,
that is
not any of you folks, but which universe you exist from, A or B, but in the one I grew up in, there were 4 people in the fucking car. 4.
That sounds like gaslighting on like this such an epic level. Like, I can't even.
Well, that's the thing. Like, maybe for clickbait and views, but I don't see the purpose in fucking with people that much. But again, that's the way the person described it. He's just like, no, some of you remember it this way. It didn't happen. And I'm like, and then I watched not just him, not the one guy, the first video clip, but multiple different ones on, the Kennedy assassination. And every single one of them shows 6 motherfucking people. Some goddamn governor and his wife, which magically appeared in this universe now.
That's so weird. And with like Photoshop and stuff, it's really hard to tell what's real anymore. Especially when it goes back to the National Archives and all that.
So with all the, again too, yeah, some of this stuff I can absolutely see is probably some crap, or, who knows how far it went, or could be some absolute like publisher changing, and, maybe we're missing the part where they're like, oh yeah, sorry folks, we changed it, no big deal. But there's the one like, the lady on TikTok freaking out about the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia, and then how, the company responded, or there was a company, they got a hold of all the company logos since they started, and not one had a cornucopia in it.
Dude, no.
And then she pulls out a fucking shirt out of nowhere
and
with
it has
a fucking
a cornucopia on it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And the look in her eye, kind of like, I'm not fucking insane, was just amazing. Because before she's like freaking, again, that's where I'm having that moment. It's such a small thing. It is such a small little difference in all this stuff. What's up, guys?
Good morning.
But yet you feel so passionate about it. Like, again, I talked to my brother and I was like, you remember all the times we sat down in the front room as kids and played fucking crappy board games? Because that's what it was, there's barely like 13 channels on TV right back in the day. And Simpsons weren't on. So we played whatever games and Monopoly. And I don't know how many goddamn times I stuck something in my eye being like, I'm the Monopoly guy, because he has a monocle. Right? Motherfucker.
I don't remember the monocle.
I don't give a fuck. Anyway. And then now he doesn't have one. And I'm talking to Johnny, he brought up another really good fucking fact that I gotta look up. He's like, remember in Ace Ventura Pet Detective?
Okay.
He's like, when he punches out that old guy.
No, I don't remember that.
So there's like an old guy dressed like a Monopoly man. He's like, he has a monocle. He's like, it's true. He's like, go back and look. He's like, he's imitating him. He pulls out his monocle and shit.
We need our own like Joe Rogan Jamie.
Dude, yeah, like, someone right Jamie, now to
pull that up.
Pull some of this shit up.
Pull that clip up.
Shit. Yeah, so it's just fucking interesting.
That is interesting. Does he say like, hey, take this Monopoly man or something?
I can't remember, but he punches him out and he's like holding him and like, I'm the Monopoly man. Do not pass go. Do not, collect $200. And he's got the whole monocle and top hat and yeah.
That's a little strange. Little strange. Yeah, we're gonna start off with a lighthearted conversation about how worlds are colliding. The Norn are weaving the weird web towards whatever this nuts crap is.
Well, I thought some weird shit like that for a while. Like, what is the one? God, what's his name from Star Trek?
Data?
Okay, no, sorry, the Captain Picard.
Captain Picard, okay.
Captain Kirk.
Yes, they're all from Star Trek.
No, hold on. What's his name? The actual actor.
Are you talking about Patrick Stewart, or are you talking about...
That's the bald one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Patrick Stewart's the Shakespearean actor.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names. Sorry, folks. I apologize to these gentlemen.
There's Trekkies out there everywhere that are going to be like, it's just this guy.
I'm just terrible with names.
Me too.
But I could have sworn that guy died years ago. I remember my dad.
William Shatner.
Thank you. His name is on the tip of my tongue. It's like salt and pepper. God damn it. Anyway. So I could have sworn people talked about how he was dead, and my dad talked about how they computer generated him to put on these progressive commercials. And then I completely forgot all about this gentleman until I saw some clip with him going into space with Jeff Bezos, and I was like, I thought that guy died.
No, he totally went into space with Jeff Bezos.
Well, again, there's that, and then the whole Mandela thing. I remember people arguing about that when I was a kid, about how shitty it was that he died in prison. So that could have been crappy internet, but, or misinformation, but there's just so many weird differences, like Pikachu, Monopoly Man, Captain Crunch, not Cap'n Crunch. This Cap'n Crunch bullshit is here. Captain. Motherfucking captain of a ship, because that's what he was. The captain of a fucking ship.
When we were kids, it was captain. Now it's captain.
Yeah. And apparently it's always been captain. It's always been captain in this universe, Wayne.
Huh.
Like, not in the universe we were in, but this one apparently. I'm serious. That one, again, another one. I'm just like, what?
So I was looking into this, right? This whole thing that you're on after last week.
Right? Yeah.
You're like...
Remember how I came across it? Internet wormholes, but go ahead.
Well, you were saying how the... what did you call it? Like the string theory worlds are colliding or something?
Okay, I think I might have come across it. It was this young genius, 11, or he's probably 15 by now. But some blonde kid worked on the collider, worked there, whatever. Some genius had some theory that since 2016 or 13, whatever they made that.
I read it as 2008 when
whenever that happened. Yeah, whenever I'm getting the dates wrong.
It created a mass so heavy that it took our world through.
Shifted it to the next or some crap like that. Yeah, and it's just like that. Subtle differences in the parallels. And then same thing if it's a multiverse theory, you would only have those subtle differences. I'm waiting for something really cool, like I'm going to win the lottery. Like that's going to be cool. That would be awesome. In this universe, that's the one I won the lottery in. I
don't think the Norn have it in your fates. Otherwise, you'd have won it already.
No, it's got to have it. We have a long time of life.
Or like you win it when you're 97. I'm a billionaire. Yeah. Dead. See ya. Congratulations. It's like the end of the Brave New World book. You finally love Big Brother. You've got everything you've ever wanted. You're 97 years old and now you're dead.
Huh. See, that book still really, really makes me think. It's just very weird. Very weird in general. Even the people, after they figure out what's going on, they're both really weird individuals.
Here we're all business and finance some days, and other days we're just like, what's really odd is that there's 6 people in the car when Kennedy gets assassinated.
Well, everyone has those turns. I was just watching this right before I came out. Good actor. I've liked him for a while. His name is Terrence Howard, right?
Okay.
And now he's talking. I just watched some video about how he's like going off a tangent about frequency and sound and everything. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. They just get bored, and after a while you get money, and then you start soul searching. You're like, what am I really interested in? Like, there's a gentleman, and I can't remember his name because I am terrible with names. He started off, I believe it was like the one of the most famous dating websites. That's how he made his money, and now he's all into the universalist theory and UFOs and all that. God damn, what's his name? Motherfucker.
I don't know.
Hey, techie guy, Google that shit for me. Oh,
there we go.
Fuck, we gotta fill that. Wayne, make sure we get that fiber ad out so we get a techie chair guy for our podcast.
I can't even figure out how to monetize this thing at this point right now.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. How you monetize a podcast? It looks like everyone throws it on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's one way, and thank you, Spotify, for allowing us to voice our insane theories. Spotify for podcasters has a way to monetize this as well, where I guess one of us will read copy for whoever our targeted demographic is that's actually picking up this stuff.
18 to 35-year-olds.
That's the thing. They'll have the data analytics for it. Then,
awesome.
Then they'll be like, read this copy for preparation H.
Oh, I
Or-
see what you're saying. It's
yeah.
like ad promos or whatever the fuck.
Or read this copy for Nike.
So while that's there on the needless cash grab, and you know, speaking now, hopefully in the future when we become millionaires, I have no problem earning money. No problem earning money. But I have a staunch stance on shit that I don't approve of, or
Yeah.
you know, I'm serious. I don't know.
Everybody has their morals.
Well, I'm curious on your end of it. You know, we're on that, you know, moral. Or are you gonna be over here like, I have used this brand of toothbrush for 12 years. You know, kind of, I love those commercials when from YouTubers, when they just randomly have used this product for the last 12 years or whatever. Like, I use it all the time. And I'm like, don't tell me that. Just be like, hey, I was looking into it, and their brand matches my morals, and that's why I agree to sponsor them, or they sponsor. Yeah, that's a cool. That's to me, that's some honest shit. Don't be like, hey,
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why
Manscaped, because I've never shaved my balls. You know, we're at that time now where we're getting shameless plugs, and I've never used these products, but hey, you should fucking buy it. Use our link.
I've always manscaped, which is way too much information. Right
I
now.
saw that shit, and that's a gift I've always wanted to get. I mean, like, that would be a great girl gift. You know what I mean? Like, from a girl to a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you always wonder that.
Would you take that personally, though, if your lady was like, here's a trimmer. Oh, I already have a beard mustache trimmer. No, it's not for your beard.
Hey, look, is that a coyote with mange
That is a coyote with mange.
and a broken foot?
Yeah.
Poor dog. Animal.
Again, we only
There you go.
have
You're okay. You're limping a little bit.
audio here. We don't have visual.
God damn. So it's like literally in the middle of the city, 10:32 on a Sunday, and there's just a coyote strolling out of a neighborhood right through the park.
Yeah,
looking
they're
at
all
us
coming
like,
up out of the washes and out of the desert because it's cold. They're
well,
looking
at
for
nighttime it's
easy-
normal, but this is pretty odd.
Easy pickings. In our neighborhood, we've had coyotes.
Well, yeah, but not in the middle of the day. Like,
Yeah,
at
in the middle
nighttime.
of the day. That's how I see them. I don't exist
Really?
at night.
Yeah, I see him at 2:35. This motherfucker's just gonna go chill over here in the park. Skip, just gonna go take a shit. Is that what it's doing?
All right, so no,
Wow.
he's looking for an easy meal. They'll hunt ground squirrels or rabbits or whatever else is in the park. But to answer your question, I'm a consumer whore. Like,
What?
on the one hand, yeah, you're like,
Don't
what
worry,
are you
folks.
gonna?
I will make sure there's some sort of moral boundary here. I'll turn around and he's like, cryptobots.com will help you with your investments. I've used them. No
I
time.
actually did use them once.
Is it a real company? Okay.
Yeah, it is a real company, and I looked into them, and it was definitely a crypto bot. It's the holidays. I don't. Do you want to work out? Yes. Is it Christmas Eve? Yes. Are you going to work out anyway? Rather have a crappy workout than no workout.
Something's better than nothing. So we talked about it last week. I don't know if it got recorded, but Tate was showing up one of his friends' contacts about being, you know, action. Like General Patton said, a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I looked at what he made a rap song just to like fuck with his friend, because he's like, oh, it was 6 months, it was taking forever, you know how long it takes. Oh, he's just like, get off your ass and do it kind of shit.
Yeah.
So he made a really okay rap song. I watched it. It was not bad. And he talked about it. He's like, I don't have any lyrical talents. He's like, I just want to do it. He's like, basically like friend slap this guy, like, motherfucker, like, get off your ass. Like, you know, it doesn't take that long.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
and,
I think this was off mics. Yeah, the premise was that this dude was a rapper, and he's like, I can't come up with lyrics. All I do is write, blah, blah, blah. And Tate's like, I just got a microphone, and I walked into the studio, and I did this.
yeah, it's just, again, action over inaction. And to me, again, it was like one of those things, like, it doesn't happen so much as being adults. And I praise him for this, but back when you were a kid, younger adolescent, like, you kind of taunt your friends, you know, for action a little bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminded me of, and it was very, very nice. Like, that's a real friend right there. I didn't call the guy out. Someone showed a clip of the person probably, but you know, it's just kind of like, you know, that's some bullshit. Get him off your ass.
Yeah. He wasn't out there like, Johnny Depp, this one's for you.
Right. Well, kind of like,
lazy.
yeah, exactly. Like you go ask the girl out that your friend likes, even though you do it in a way that you know she's not gonna, say yes, but just to fuck with them,
Yeah, I've actually done that when I was hanging out with Derek. I would be like, just go ask her out, just go talk to her, just go say hi.
Yeah.
And he'd sit there, no, and I'd legitimately be having a conversation with this woman by the time he looked up from his drink. Where'd you go? I went to go have a conversation.
Oh my God, it's cracked my collar.
Back when I was single. All right, let's get out of here. Let's just go do the good stuff.
Well, if you're gonna get wifed at for the 2 hours, let's go do something. We need to find a scone place, coffee and muffin and tea or some bullshit. Some nice little breakfast sandwich shop.
We actually need to just get on this at the beginning of the year.
You know what?
Get on this at the beginning of the year. Like, find a recording space. I know that you want to go to the coffee house and hear the background noises.
That's all just reverberation to what we used to do. Actually, I came across sure he's a therapist or psychologist.
Okay.
So his channel name, if I write, shameless plug, is it Badass Counseling, Badass Therapy?
Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen this guy.
You seen that guy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think his name is, God, what's his name? Some weird Swedish name. Like, excuse me, not weird, but just different. He looks completely, his accent's all American. Sven, I think it was. And he's just like, people ask me Sven. I'm like, Sven? I was like, you don't sound fucking... But anyway.
He looks like a Sven, though. Like,
he does, yeah, he does.
He's like,
I'm
a therapist.
Big old beard, exactly, yeah. But he sounds like he's from fucking Midwest or something. Anyway.
Sure.
Right, but yeah, I really liked his, he was just out in the middle of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like he's like, I need a safe place to record and do my shit.
Yeah, and he's out there therapy. Crying and stuff on camera. He's like, it's okay.
Crying?
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay, no, I've only come across one. That's cool. No, one, he was just talking about narcissists. There was a clip coming across, and he talked about, he's like, I don't use that word. He's like, I use, was it extreme takers?
Extreme takers.
And I was like, that's so true.
That is true, huh?
Yeah.
Drop a little dude in the soccer ball.
I heard the parent for a second. I was like, this is the kid?
Well, anyway.
That's our society today. Because if this was 20 years ago, there should be nothing wrong with that young little gentleman walking out his backyard and playing in the park.
Yeah.
Damn,
I was going to go with anyway. Mom, Dad, brother, and the dog.
Right? Anyway.
So you saw Leave the World Behind.
Okay, yeah. Wasn't bad. It was,
And then you sent me this clip that had nothing to do with the conspiracy thing that I was going to go down.
I thought it was going to have something to do with it, right? And I was like, cool, this lady's dissecting it. And then I open it up and she's talking about some other shit, but I'm just like, that's cool. So there's a QR code apparently, folks. If you look at the title page where it's got America and the black and white little map.
Looks like an election map.
Yeah, up on the upper right-hand corner, I think maybe Minnesota or the Great Lakes area, if I'm not mistaken. There's a QR code.
It's right near West Virginia.
Which takes you right to some fucking haunted amusement park with some really creepy background story for whatever reason.
Now, do you think that's a curveball from the whole, like, Michelle and Barack Obama producing this movie? Because I haven't seen the movie. I've seen maybe 15 minutes of it, to be bluntly honest.
It was interesting, about some just how you could cripple...
Yeah, you cripple society by getting rid of the internet, by getting rid of phones, Well, there's a 3-step process. The third step is it's done internally. People kill themselves. Huh.
Because what they did is spread fucking mass misinformation.
Really?
So they have drones and planes, like in one state, one area, shooting out pamphlets in one language from one country, being like "Death to America." They have another plane or whatever.
Is this going on in the movie?
Dropping off shit, being like, "No, it's these people." And again, they talk about the 3 stages. Cut down their communications and all that, and you do this other things. Like with the third one, you have so much conflict, people just end up destroying themselves. Wow. Exactly what happened is people are like, no, it's this person, no, it's this person.
Yeah, so
regardless who the fuck what happened, who cares?
The reason why I brought this up to you though is I heard a theory that it was all based on how you desensitize a population for when it really happened.
Oh yeah.
Say the cell towers go down, it's like, oh, I saw this in that one movie. It's nothing to worry about. Big Brother's gonna save me.
I don't know if it's a warning. That's what I kind of took it as, kind of like, you know what? There's a character in there, and I almost want to say, if he produced it, sure, but I mean, I don't know who wrote this motherfucker, but it obviously, this guy has some...
It's based on a book.
Okay. Well, I wonder who wrote the book.
It's based on the book, and the book is like kind of up my alley because I love those dystopian novels.
Yeah.
It's really shaped my worldview, which kind of is awful at the same time. Like, the way I look at the world is viewed through this very skewed, what's the propaganda machine trying to produce, you know?
Oh, absolutely. It's a Latin term. Basically, it's who benefits.
Yeah.
Whenever something comes up, the first question you ask yourself is who benefits?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Who benefits from this?
Yeah, whether it's a murder or a new law or whatever, there's someone who benefits from it, and that's usually someone's got something to do with it. But, okay, so the guy has a really interesting thing to say to this woman. He's like, you know, all his contacts and all his knowledge of the covert government. He's like, he's like, there's no one in control. He's like, there's no strings being pulled. He's like, the higher up you get, the only thing you hope for is just a heads up. You know, and she's just looking at him like, you're kidding me, right? And he's like, no, there's like, no one has any control. Like, no one has any idea what's going on. And because there's just so much inherent greed.
Well, I think I want to go back to something that George Carlin said.
Yes,
the Carlin. You can't have a conspiracy on such a level like that, but you can have mutual interests.
Aha. Yes.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And he goes off on how we have two political parties that were at the time there were 6 major oil companies, and he said soon there's going to be 3, and then there's 2 political parties, 6 major oil companies, something along the lines of 5 major food producers, but you can go and get 23 flavors of ice cream.
Yep. Yeah,
and it's the illusion of choice is what he was getting at, but it's all very strange how that all boils out and stuff.
I think it's absolutely either ingrained, if you want to call it human nature, or just the way of things. No one in maybe one generation, but after generations, no person or group of people have any sort of consideration for those underneath them, because you're separated from the common woes and troubles of that generation, or that class of people, whether it be kings or corporations. They all operate the same goddamn way. Oh, we're people, and we're here for you, and everything's for your benefit, and all. But really, when you're in those closed door meetings, they don't give a flying fuck.
Well, they're all limited to their narrow perspectives and their own interests. That's really what it boils down to, in my opinion. You know, because I've worked with guys, on the construction yard, who are staunch Republicans, and I don't understand them. And I've worked at the same construction yard with guys who are staunch Democrats, and I don't understand them either. I really don't get it. I can see their perspective, but I don't get how they can be pitted against each other. They're both swinging hammers and turning wrenches, And to me, it's all just about the major propaganda machine.
Isn't it like 5 or 6 core tenets that really separate the Democrat and the Republican? Pro-gun, pro-choice, there's only real few things.
The way that I see the Republican agenda is they mass market God and guns, and they try to do that whole personal freedom thing, but on the other side, the Democrats do that whole personal freedom thing with things like healthcare and workers' rights, It's just 2 extremes of the same coin, in my opinion. And then you go to any other country and they're like, wow, why are your Democrats so conservative?
There's really some interesting stuff going on, yeah. Well, I have no real faith in our political system now. I think it should be rebuilt.
Oh,
absolutely rebuilt.
Oh, I'm taking a lesson from George Carlin and just stepping outside of it. You know, you can't internalize it or take it personally, but you can sit there and question the holy hell out of all of it.
Oh, I mean, I think the time for being a bystander is done. I mean, I've done enough watching.
In the grand scheme of things, there are 7 billion people on this planet. Do you think 2 dudes with a microphone are going to be able to change the world, change people's outcomes? Like, Joe Rogan does do this really well. He likes to light people's perspectives up, and he does it in such a way that I've seen, again, both sides of the spectrum are like, what the hell is that guy talking about? He's such a loon. And that's where I want to be. I want people to label me as a loon. Because I think that your business shouldn't be taxed, but I also think that we should raise taxes to have universal health care in this country.
I think there should be different taxes. Like, for example, if I want certain thing that's a luxury, I believe in luxury tax. I believe there should be a standard of like.
You believe in luxury tax until you have to pay it.
No. Again, this is my complete thought. I think there shouldn't be no homeless. There should be no needy. Everyone should have a base level of living, right?
Okay.
You have your base levels, but if you do something extraordinary, or like, for example, if you take the extra time to be a doctor, sure, you get a little extra more. If you're, someone who produces more, then you get a little extra more. If you want something out of the baseline, a want, then yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit more, maybe. But again, what's the necessity of a tax if it's already expensive? A tax is only to inflate the cost to line the pockets of someone else. Really, what is a fucking tax?
Yeah.
If you want a bigger and shinier car than your neighbor because you have no kids, or there's multiple different variations, and you only have one child versus the 2-3 childs that you're allotted, in the government world. You know what I'm saying? Where do you put the extra money? That's not my fucking problem. Resource-based economy. If everyone has what they need, there'd be a lot of differences in strife and struggle. But we need that. We need to have people killing each other and poor, so you and I, as the slumping middle class, have something to look forward to and people to look down on.
To keep striving to work towards. One day I'm going to have a $60 bajillion yacht, mega yacht that has to have a bridge moved so that way I could just move it through.
Shit, statistically, I like working off of that. So let's go back to your question a moment ago. 2 guys with a microphone, changing perspectives, exactly how much impact. To answer your question, absolutely and yes. Now, the reality of that, the statistics, the probability of that happening, how likely, but it does happen. It has happened. It is happening. There are plenty of people with a microphone changing everything.
And therein lies the strange deaths. And that's kind of what I'm getting to. Anybody who stands up on a soapbox and tries to change the world and is like, love your neighbor, taxation is not only theft, it's fucking extortion. All those guys just disappear. They get wiped under the rug, right? So they're either torn to shit by an attack on the Matrix. Thank you, Andrew Tate. Or they get successful enough in a big enough audience that they mysteriously die in a car wreck. Or they mysteriously just go into hospital and never come out.
Well, if we're going to bury our heads in the sand with the possibility of being big enough to get assassinated, and honestly, if I end up dying because my message, our platform, was big enough to warrant that, what's the term? Glorious death? I mean,
they proved you right by assassinating you.
Oh, I mean, again, I'm not saying I want it. I'm not saying I want it. I'm not saying I'm to want it. But again, too, like, I'd rather die of something like that than being a crippled, old, broken retail servant.
Fair.
Choose your death, right?
See,
the
thing that really got me fired up in this fact is that I am sick of being a wage slave, and I see society as just this new form of wage slavery. I was like, it's not wage slavery. You too can pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Well, that phrase in and of itself is damn near impossible. I have boots. I put them on every day to get my ass to work. so that way I could pay my bills. And I tried it one day. I was like laying down, like, can I pull myself up by my own bootstraps? It is physically impossible. You got to do like push-ups, blurpee kind of a thing. And if you can't do that, you're not going to get your ass to work. It's not going to be a thing, you know?
Well, you can just park on the street. We can dissect that a little bit. Isn't that interesting how we all know that trying to break away from the programming is near impossible? That we all attribute anyone who is able to do that to either being a criminal, a crook, or has broken the rules.
Yeah,
you never look at someone successful and be like, they followed all the rules and they were an honest person.
Oh,
no.
They paid their taxes on time every April 15th.
Right? You know, we always regrettably or, you know, whatever, tell them, oh, that person, this and that. But it's true, though, right? We all know it's impossible.
Yeah.
The rules aren't set up to make you succeed.
No, they're not. Really, that's one of my aims of this podcast, too, is to spread that message of hope. And that's really why I came up with the weird aspect of it, because you do have to control your own destiny in one way or another. Yes, there's nothing wrong with going to a job for 20 years, putting in and being a company man and paying your bills and living a good life, if that's what you want to do. And I don't really want to go quietly or peacefully anymore, you know? You see a lot of this stuff and you're just like, fuck it all.
I still haven't looked up this goddamn menu. I'm going to get a fucking muffin. Let's get it. Get a pastry this time.
You can get whatever you want.
Well, I'm going to, motherfucker. It's happening. Ooh, peppermint fudge Pop-Tart. What am I thinking, folks? Or almond bear claw. I'm a bear claw kind of guy. Alright, we'll do a bear claw and a hot tea, baby.
We come to the part of the podcast where everybody tunes out because, one, we just went on a crazy rant. And two, the road
can't hear you shit. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's
editing's job. Yep.
That's where I'm going to pause it for now. We'll pick it back up in the car. Remember what we were talking about? I don't know, because continuity is a thing.
I don't remember. Guy in the chair. What were we talking about? That's also a good thing we would have. Pull up the recording and be like, you were just ranting about this.
Yeah, well.
Or this is where we can pull out a samurai sword and be like, cool.
Isn't that awesome? So, I'm listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and that's all they do is just try and get the 30-second clip, the 1-minute clip kind of soundbite going to either make themselves famous or to get something that'll go viral. That's all it really is. Like, I'm trying to listen to these 2-hour, 3-hour things. Like, what is he doing that we could do? And basically, he's just got a desk and microphones and, you know, beer and alcohol and weed and whatever else is going on there. And over Christmas, the Christmas show, or Save Our Parks, you know, thank you, Joe Rogan, for being out there and, you know, leading the way on this kind of shit. Ums and uhs are definitely not a thing they do because they're all professional comedians. But anyway, they're all just trying to get the next soundbite, be controversial, something that goes viral. And it's 2 hours of this. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's just utterly atrocious. And that stuff really never makes it out there. But, you know, after 2,000 episodes of recording,
there's going to be some flops. I was wondering that too. I'm like, after that many conversations, I wonder how they can keep everything so fresh. Got to be some intermeans.
It's not, and it's not necessarily all fresh. It's like what's going on now, you know, what's relevant. And then there's been a lot of experts that he's put on the show that just drop some knowledge.
I gotcha.
Like there's this one organic farmer, I want to say, where he changed his farm from being input dependent to being a natural farm. Mm-hmm. And he shows 2 different soil samples of it. He's like, that's an input and this is natural. And it's quite eye-opening, you know, because
from dirt to soil, yeah.
So the soil is like this deep black gold, really rich. It looks like it could grow anything.
It's alive, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's dirt. It's just brown dirt.
It's dead, yeah. All the microorganisms.
You gotta add to this, you know.
Because we killed the first 2 feet of all of our soil by tilling the crap out of it.
Go Monsanto.
Yeah. Not even just that, but back in the day when tilling became popular, I mean, we didn't farm like that for a long ass time. We didn't disturb the soil, or we did something different. And I was watching more about this a couple years ago, because this guy was going around and he's like, I'm educating farmers on how to, like, you know, properly farm, you know, because the way we do it is just killing our earth.
Yeah.
It's just dead dirt, again, from dirt to soil.
Yeah.
So there's a Joe, I think it was a clip, one of the viral ones, but he had a guy on there talking about how vegans are bigger killers than people who eat meat.
That is actually from Yellowstone.
Was it?
There's
okay.
a clip on Yellowstone where John Dutton, I just watched this the other day, where John Dutton, he says, oh, so you don't have any value on the life that you kill for the food that you get. Do you think, how many animals do you kill eating soybeans and stuff? He's like, I'll tell you, you know how many animals? It's all the animals it takes to plow the land. You kill every snake, every gopher, every worm, every grasshopper, everything in that area to grow that food, just so you could have soybeans. So you have no value to life. You just you just value how cute the face is. And it's true. Legitimately true. I came across a thing where honey is the only food that doesn't kill anything else to be made or created. Now, people farming the honey and all that stuff is a totally different debate. But if you want some food that's like vegan, super friendly, all life and all that stuff, you just got to get some bee vomit.
Well, that stuff's a miracle thing anyway. It's antimicrobial, antioxidant or something.
Anti-inflammatory, yeah. It's
apparently really it's flammable.
Good. Really? I didn't know it was flammable.
Yeah, who knew? Yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff about honey. Also healing and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a daily dose of cinnamon and honey every day.
Very nice.
Start my day with that. But, oh no, we gotta stop. Yeah. Due to the holiday, we gotta stop recording and halt the conversation here. I wanted to talk about the Nevermind Kid. You want to talk about the Nevermind Kid really quick?
I don't even know what you're talking about, so let's start that.
This past week, he came out and he filed a lawsuit against Nirvana because he has been traumatized because he's the Nirvana Nevermind baby. You're familiar with that? The original album cover, right?
No. Because I'm assuming there's a baby or whatever.
There's just a naked baby in the pool, and they took a picture of him. He's got his wang hanging out.
Okay.
I need a drink of water here.
A picture from the early 80s with every baby's penis and butt hanging out.
Late 80s, yeah. Early 90s. Like, nobody thought anything of it. It's just a baby in a pool. And Nirvana was very controversial at the time. Came out with songs like Rape Me, all that kind of stuff. And they just did it for the attention. You know, it's a naked baby. Oh my God. And then they edited it after a while and blurred out or photoshopped away the baby's penis. So it looks like just a baby swimming in a pool. He's filing a lawsuit for distribution of child pornography. And then some other kind of like, I forgot exactly what it is, but it's one of those mental illnesses that he says that he's suffered because his wang was produced on an album cover that was mass distributed. I know kids these days don't understand what that means, but back in the day when you could go through a record store and you see a CD, and Nirvana was one of the biggest things blown up. So this baby's wang is all over the place until somebody went, that's not right. You know?
I'm just trying to think of the scope of, like, you know, him being made fun of as a kid or something. I'm just like, does it seem like a cash grab?
It kind of does to me, to tell you the honest truth.
Like, maybe he was a little bit
what, 40 years ago, 30 years ago?
Should I get mad because my last name reminds people of like food, you know, like, oh no, I gotta sue the company.
Well, you guys, your whole side of the family has the wrong side of the family. That's not my side of the family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, every time I tell someone, they're like, oh, are you rich? And I'm like, yeah, I do this because I'm rich. That's my last name leads you to believe I'm rich. I know that, but no, people have last names of famous shit like Campbell. I know some Campbells who didn't make soup. Haha. Believe it or not.
You could be no name and still be kind of cut out. Like,
yeah.
Guess what? Here's a fun fact I bet you didn't know about me. My great-grandmother on my dad's side inherited a third of either Chevron or Exxon, the oil company. She inherited a third of it. Guess how quickly she lost it? The next day, the day after her husband died, she lost it.
Why?
It was the 40s and 50s, and women didn't do that. They weren't owned. They didn't own that kind of a thing. They didn't make decisions in the boardroom or any of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Right? My mom always had the joke, I knew I married rich, and they lost it all. That was legitimately my grandfather's mom. My grandpa's mom.
Wow, big. So you're an oil tycoon, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm just
from oil money. I knew I smelled money on you.
I'm the son of a union worker and a stay-at-home wife who used to be a machinist and union worker until she decided to have kids and then stay at home and all that fun stuff. And economics made it so that way one income household couldn't be sustainable. It had to be a 2-income household.
That's I remember watching some of that information, how they got us on that. I was like, I never thought about that. They're like, back in the day, you could survive and have all this and have a house and kids and fucking college and off of one income. And if that one person, fell ill, the other person go to work.
Yep.
Now, both of you have to go to work and you're still not surviving.
No, both of you have to go to work and you have to work 2 jobs. My wife works 2 jobs. I work 2 jobs. I work all the jobs. I work every job that throws money at me. But
Wayne does have a special corner he likes to hang out on, just so you folks know.
With a sign, I'm not homeless, I'm just poor. All right, well, I guess that'll end it here today.
Next episode, we will talk about the homeless epidemic and fentanyl zombies.
Be safe. Drive sober, get pulled over.
Stay spicy, live dangerously, but be responsible, fuckers.